In this episode of Rooted in Retail, we have another bonus episode. I am talking to Edgars Cers, who I interviewed at the Las Vegas market in January. And this was originally interviewed for my other show, Crystal Uncorked, but I interviewed a retailer, the co-owner of Comfy Living Chicago, a furniture store in Chicago. And this, because he's a retailer, we had to put it on Rooted in Retail. It fits so well here. And so I am wildly impressed by my guest because he is the youngest guest I have ever interviewed for a show. He is 18 years old, and you'll hear me realize that throughout the interview because he started his furniture store when he was in class, but on his phone during COVID, and saw an opportunity and started a business. And the whole time he was talking, I was thinking he was in college. I just didn't even think high school. He's a very, very impressive person. And in this episode, we talk a lot about mindset. I feel like Edgars has so much figured out for his age. I was just wishing that I knew what he knew when I first started my business at 21 years old. I feel like I'm just now kind of getting it, and he has a lot figured out. We talk about the importance of relationships and who, not how, which is such a big one. And I love what Edgars said too about ChatGPT, which we talked a little bit about technology and ChatGPT at the end of the interview. He said, use it or let it use you. And I can't agree more. This is a great conversation. I loved it, and I hope you enjoy it too. Be sure to follow Comfy Living Chicago on Instagram. They make some great content there and reels. You'll get to meet Edgars through Instagram and follow along with his journey. And let's dive into this episode. Welcome to Rooted in Retail, the show that's dedicated to helping independent retailers thrive in today's ever-evolving retail landscape. I'm your host, Crystal Vilkaitis, and I'm thrilled to have you join me weekly as we explore topics that are vital to the success of your store. From marketing to mindset, money to merchandising, sales to leadership, we'll cover it all. Each episode features interviews with industry experts and accomplished retailers who share their real-life insights and actionable advice. Get ready for a great conversation on how to build your dream business with Rooted in Retail. Edgars, welcome to Crystal Uncorked. I'm thrilled you're here.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm excited.
This is so fun, right? How has market been?
Awesome. My first time in market.
Oh.
But many options, great people, and
Yeah, what's been a highlight for you?
Let's see. I think the bedding. It's always fun to it's a fun job to try out mattresses.
Oh, heck yeah. That sounds awesome. But then you're walking the show and how do you get up? Like, I would want to just take a nap.
Yes.
You need that break. Okay, so tell me about Comfy Living Chicago, why you started it, and a little bit about the business.
Yeah, so my brother and I and my buddy, we started by selling pre-owned furniture. Started during COVID, and we had our school on our phones, and we're selling pre-owned furniture. Started with our garage and a storage unit, transitioned into a warehouse, and grew from that. And then just recently, we started looking at options for mattresses and furniture, just to have the consistency of quality, but still with the pre-owned sectionals to have that high quality, but also at affordable for people to buy it.
Awesome. Okay, so you were doing school on your phone while launching this business.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Talk about the world gets flipped upside down and you just kind of jump into innovating and creating. And I was listening to another podcast. Somebody was doing something similar, and it sounds like a really awesome way to get into furniture with the pre-owned. What made you get into that in the first place?
Yeah, I started from kind of just online, came across the idea, tried it out, and after one, really saw the potential, saw the needs on both sides of people either moving or upgrading and needing to get rid of it, and then people on the other end of looking to get that quality, but still not spending a fortune.
Right, exactly. Okay, so you saw a need. You're like, let's do it. Okay. Yeah. And then obviously that led you to having your storefront.
Yes.
in Chicago. Are you from Chicago?
Yes.
Okay, I love Chicago. That's one of my favorite cities. And so how, from like a foot traffic marketing perspective, a lot of my listeners have retail stores. Mm-hmm. What's been working for you lately to drive traffic in?
Yeah, for sure. We're focusing on the social media, combining the social, like organic with the paid. One of the biggest things is for sure videos. We have to do more for sure, but it's for sure a really personal touch of you're able to do the same thing as you would of just writing a blog, but just having your face on it, personalize it, and explain a little more, or if you have to show something, just building that trust with the clients.
Yeah. So I peeked at your TikTok and Instagram. First of all, love that you're on TikTok because that's the name of the game, I feel like, right now with organic content and getting those views. And I love the video you did where you sawed into a Wayfair piece of furniture and we're like, look what's it. I mean, it was eye-opening of the quality. It was awful.
Yeah.
People are just, I mean, I get the convenience side of going online and needing to purchase something, but there's an expense with that. And so of TikTok, Instagram, I saw you have Facebook, and I think Pinterest. What platform is working best right now?
Instagram.
Okay.
Surprisingly, sometimes because we haven't done too much. Obviously, we're a new company, but after our first couple posts, we had foot traffic and just asking where they found us and this and that. And we were just a little surprised. We were like, "Oh, really? Instagram?
It works."
But yeah, it works. Yeah.
Are you using like local hashtags and that way?
So actually, we've worked with one local influencer, and from that had a couple sales and also just community building and that.
Awesome.
Just doing some things that you wouldn't think that a furniture store would do, but really, our whole mindset around it is serving the outcome of the client. So it's like, are you really just serving them? Kind of how Bob was saying in the seminar earlier today about what business are you really in? And it's like, it's not selling them a chair, it's selling them this, or it's like, for us, it's mostly selling them the convenience and the easy moving experience to Chicago. So it's like, they get to Chicago, they're going all over the place, and then they come to us, and it's a nice setup and convenience top of mind for us.
And you're able to showcase that through video. I mean, it is probably the best way for you to do it. And I love that you're thinking that way versus just showing product. You are stepping into the shoes of the customer a little bit. And what is that exterior experience to communicate what you do, which is awesome. So keep that up because that's going to keep driving traffic in. You mentioned working with an influencer, which a lot of our retailers have questions around that because some have and it's been great and some have and they're like, I didn't see anything from that. How did you work with your influencer and what do you think made it work well for you guys?
Yeah, so we worked with a local influencer. Kind of what we were thinking was someone that aligns with us. Obviously, local was, right now we are only working local. So it was pretty kind of looking at someone who aligns with our company and has a following of our clients. Obviously, that's pretty crucial. Or you just have an influencer that's not, doesn't produce a really outcome.
Right.
But my brother took care of that. I think he just on Instagram reached out and he was actually in the process of moving. So we got him a few items. Worked perfect for both of us.
Yeah. Oh my God. Talk about great timing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Working with your brother. I hear, work with your family. It's amazing. Don't work with your family. How is it going for you guys?
At times it could get a little arguments in that,
sure.
But overall, it's fun. It's a fun experience. Also building and having the sense of like knowing that we each have each other's back.
Yeah,
which is really crucial in business when you're starting off. I think you can't build anything alone really, or you're very limited what you can, and it's really the people that you work with is crucial in building that team. So
totally. And you said your buddy too is a part of the business.
We started off together, and then he went to college.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Now, did you finish college then on your phone, and then you went in and started this business, or how did that all?
High school. I started high school.
I was even wondering. I'm like, is it high school or is it college?
Yeah.
You are awesome. So you finished high school, which kind of a bummer. Then did you have like a prom and graduating?
Yeah. So senior year of high school was normal.
Okay.
Close to normal. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. So then you were like, I don't need to go to college. I'm starting a business.
Yes.
I love it. I'm in the camp of, I'm not that big of a believer in college. I think that it can be appropriate for certain careers or, in certain situations. And I went to college. But if I did it all over again, I wouldn't have. I would have just started working, starting a business. The things that you learn, that's the best kind of school you can go to. Now, speaking of, what is one of the things that you've learned that's really been pivotal to your success that you didn't know before, but you had to figure it out and you're in this business? What is one of those things that the school of hard knocks, as they say?
Yeah. I think the biggest is that it's from Tony Robbins, is the growth or success of the business is always depending on the owner's mindset. And it's like, once you realize that, or the chokehold of the business is always the owner's mindset. And once you take that responsibility, not taking blame of it, of like not doing this or that, but taking ownership of knowing like if your mindset is like limited, or if your mindset is wherever it might be, that's where the business is going. If you see all the opportunities and lining everything up, they'll get there. But that realizing and taking ownership of that is for sure big, because without that, you can't implement other skills or this or that.
Yeah, you're the bottleneck. You're stuck. That's an amazing thing to learn early on.
Yeah.
I've had my business for 10 years, and I did not learn it that early. And there's moments where you know it, but then life happens, business happens, and you can take a couple steps back and a few steps forward. So if you can keep that in mind and really like mindset, and you're always working on it, is what I'm finding. But I bet, what did you think about, Bob talked a lot about mindset stuff today, and you're probably like, yes, I completely agree. What was one of your highlights did you go to any other sessions, or it was funny because we were sitting next to each other at Bob Nagin, who's also I interviewed, and Edgar's like, hey, I'm going to be on your show. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And we were sitting there the whole time. Like, I had no idea. So that was fun. But did you do other sessions?
I did a couple in Home Furnishing Association. They had a couple of seminars. It was a mix of sales pitches and information, but I mean, it's always the little things that get you back on track or just adjusting that.
I know. I sometimes think that we might be looking like, I need the big next new thing, but you're so right. If you can find one little thing that can help just keep us moving as business owners. If you process credit cards, you're going to want to listen up for this resource because it could save you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars a year. It personally saved my business thousands of dollars every single year. The resource is our friends over at Payrock, and they have an epic offer for my listeners. Listen up. All you have to do is send a merchant statement over to Payrock, and they're going to see if they can meet or beat your fees. If they cannot meet or beat your fees, then they're going to send you $500. So if you process credit cards, send a statement, you can make $500, or you could save hundreds, if not thousands like I did. It's worth checking. So go to crystalmediaco.com/payrock, and that's PAYROC, to get that process starting to just send your statement. You guys, I drug my feet for years in sending a statement, and I'm glad I finally did because I'm saving so much money. This is a great offer. I hope they can help you like they did me. Tell me about, so it's February, almost 2023. What are some of the trends in your industry that you're seeing and you're excited about?
Yeah, so I think one thing is also for sure having the mind of the economy to a sense, because obviously people are cutting back a bit on big ticket items, which is furniture, and that is where we're looking to advance the pre-owned couches and sections, because we're able to save people great money on good stuff. Overall, our goal for 2023 is really building the one-stop shop for like a new apartment renters or owners. And so it's having the line of options, but also to a limit where it's not 30 mattresses and 30,000 square foot, So keeping the operations also matching like the client's needs and wants with the operations, which is just a thing to figure out where it's, but yeah, that's kind of a little jumble right there.
But I love it because at least for me as a shopper, I get really overwhelmed when there's a ton of options, and then I can only get certain things from here and certain things from here. And when you're making it, it just sounds like the convenience factor. And people want the convenience, that's why they're shopping online, but then they're not getting the quality and they're not being able to test it out and sit and use it. So you're making that, I feel like the focus a little bit sounds like convenience and really putting that customer first, which is awesome. I feel like that your business will be very successful if you keep doing that. I'm just thinking about you being in high school and then starting this business, and I feel so proud of you, and I don't even know you, but that's really an awesome accomplishment. What are your proudest moments?
Proudest moments. I think overall just like the firsts of things, like start taking the leap on things, taking a leap, sometimes getting over that fear. I think another thing of Bob was a lot of great things that he said were just like reinforcement. I dove deep in a lot of like self-development courses and that with like Tony Robbins the past year. And obviously repetition is mother of skill. So it's like, keep going with that. And the thing about like the fear and courage is like, fear is undirected thoughts. Courage is directed thoughts. So it's like, once your mind is programmed to be like survival. So it's like, that's your first instinct. And you just have to take control of it with that subconscious mind, take control of it and then direct it with courage. And
that's deep. And like, that's so powerful, powerful. Yeah. But you have to, there is that training, the repetition that you have to get to that place. You're training your brain. We're rewiring our brain to really focus on that. I love that so much. You're so wise. Yeah. Tony Robbins is such a good person to study from. I did his, business mastery maybe. Yeah, I broke through the wood, but it was all virtual 2020. So I'm at my house by myself, just like going through the wood. Yeah. What is something that you found challenging as a business owner?
I mean, there are challenges for sure every day. Yeah. It is at times changing those overall just problems into like viewing them as opportunities. It can get tough at times when things don't go your way. It can be very easy to get into like just as a success cycle is, you can also create like not working cycle where it's like this doesn't work out, and it's like only the morning, and it's like that can easily turn into just like a cycle of and then you spiral and the whole day is gone, and then if you don't get yourself out of that, you're kind of stuck. And then mindset, and if you're the owner, and it's all about the mindset for the business. So what would you, if there was somebody just like you who is senior in high school, let's say just like you a few years ago, and they have a business idea, what kind of advice would you give them? I would say for sure, first start to just go for it, and then gain the skills, build the relationships that will propel you forward. I think it's a combination of the correct education with like action, because if you're only learning, that only gets stored in your head, and it's a limited amount, and you can't get it like where you're in the real world, I guess, like, and like making it happen. So a combination of, I think, and then the massive action of taking big risks, but still calculated. And then I think the other crucial thing is the relationships of who, not how, because there is already someone who has done what you're doing or very closely that you want to do. And also building the network of people as one thing that also, I think, focusing on myself, but also for the business of like strategic partnerships of like, overall for the business, there are many ways of who are the people that are working with our clients, like real estate agents, apartment buildings, even like home improvement stores. That's like people go there when they're moving into a house or moving into an apartment. And then strategic, or just all overall for myself, building a network of people that are like-minded and or overall just life experience, and kind of I just read Keith Ferrazzi's book, Never Eat Alone.
Okay. I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
And I think one of the chapters is build it before you need it. So it's like providing people value, especially that I'm young, I'm able to have more time than being committed into one exact thing, where I'm able to help people or host networking events or this and that. And then I have the network where it's like, if I want to start this or this, then I have the resources.
Exactly.
Available.
Once you are in that place of need, you've got your people.
Yeah.
But it's not, and you're doing it because of, obviously, you're serving, you're connecting, you're part of the community, especially as a local business. And you just gave such great advice. I mean, the community and your network just have to have action. I think a lot of people sit at home and will map it all out and talk about it, but they won't take that next step because it's scary. So fear wins, right? They got to really focus on courage and get into action. And then they're going to learn from that, because a lot of people, we don't know what we don't know until you get into it, right? And you're going to learn so much from that. But that was really great advice for our listeners. So I appreciate that. Anything else that you want to leave the listeners with as it relates to business?
Yeah, I think the last thing would be about the technology that's available. And I like one of your podcasts about the ChatGPT, where it's like, my thinking with that is use it or let it use you, where it's like the technology is out there and it's like advancing, and you either you use it to your benefit or you ignore it. But I mean, it's the things that right now is just like the tip of the iceberg.
Completely
and
agree.
I think it's very crucial to gain those skills of using it and finding what works for you, because it can save you hours a day or a week, and not only that, but produce great whatever.
Totally. And you're so right. It is just the tip of the iceberg. Like we don't even know what's to come. I feel like there's this like weird kind of, whoa, the world's going to change. It's changing all the time, but like in a dramatic way, I think. And it's smart that you're thinking that way too. And thanks for reinforcing it, because people are worried. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to talk. I don't want to learn a new thing. What's incredibly amazing to me with specifically ChatGPT is how easy it is. They're making the technology so easy for the average consumer. And as you start playing with it, you can figure out like, how can I use this for my business, and how can this really support me? So thanks for being a cheerleader for it, because businesses need to evolve. They need to stay up to date. Awesome. ComfyLivingChicago.com, right? And is that the handle for social as well?
Yes.
Awesome. We'll link to it all in the show notes. Edgars, thank you so much for being here. This is such a great conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. It means the world to me. Don't forget to join the Rise and Shine newsletter, which is social media news you need to know sent via email every Monday morning. Go to crystalmediaco.com/rise to join. And don't miss the newest episode of Rooted in Retail, which drops every Sunday morning.